Welcome back to the latest edition of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar Podcast. I'm your host, Jacob Elyachar, the chief content producer and writer of jakestake.com, a pop culture entertainment news website. It is episode 106, and today I'm very excited to welcome this recording artist, dancer, and entrepreneur. She has opened for Andy Grammer, Bruno Mars, Lisa Loeb, and Maren Morris. She also has, as of this recording, 2,000 Twitter followers, 3,700 Instagram followers, and not to mention 17,000 Facebook plans. So please help me welcome Alyssa Jacey.
Woo! What an intro! Thank you so much. 106.
Amen to that. So first of all, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk with me today, Alyssa.
Hey, same back to you. I mean, it's pretty awesome what you do to support us, and it's a pleasure already to be here.
All right, so let's get started. So when did you get interested in music, and how did that passion evolve into desire to pursue a career in the recording industry?
All right. Well, as a heads up, I don't like to read interview questions before I get them. So whatever you're going to ask me, I don't know. So I like to kind of fly off the cuff. So how did I get interested in music? That was your question, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That was completely, I call it by accident / divine intervention. I didn't know that I could sing until I was almost 24 years old. So I grew up playing sports, and I was a dancer. I danced in the Super Bowl. I thought for sure I was going to be maybe Janet Jackson's backup dancer or dance with Justin Timberlake or Usher. And I moved from my hometown, San Diego, to Los Angeles to teach dance and sung to myself at work. Didn't even realize I was doing it. Coworkers heard me singing. They said, you should try karaoke. We're going to start it next Wednesday night. You're going to be the one to kick it off. And that is literally how my whole singing career started, music career started, was singing karaoke. And I got
That's incredible. And I got to say, to dance in the Super Bowl is a pretty big honor.
That was so fun. It was a whole major audition process. But I got to dance. I got accepted and danced in the pregame show, national anthem, and halftime shows.
Which is incredible. Not a lot of people get to say it's have that on their resume.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite, most proud moments of my life, honestly.
All right, so let's get back to music. So who are your role models in the music industry, and how did they influence your career?
Role models, to be honest, maybe this is going to sound funny. I find role models to be anyone that's going through this industry and really working their butts off. I don't want to answer probably the obvious way would be someone famous, they're a big name. But I look at my peers and some of the people that I've kind of come up with in this last 16 years, and especially in Nashville, the last 9 years that I've been here. And I really admire some of the people that just forge ahead no matter what, especially during the pandemic. To see those of you out there who are still fighting to keep your heads above water because you love what you do, those are role models to me.
Absolutely, 100%. That is a perfect response. No matter where you are and no matter what has happened, I think that our industry, the entertainment industry, has taken a massive hit. And I think and I give a big shout out for everyone for persevering under the massive obstacle.
And that goes for everybody. It's not just, I mean that also, you asked me about music role models, but everyone's a role model to me who's really fighting for what they believe in, regardless of what industry they're in or whatever they're doing.
Amen to that. So you have opened for a plethora of artists, including Andy Grammer, Bruno Mars, Lisa Loeb, Maren Morris, and Paula Cole. So what have been some of the lessons that you learned from them that helped you grow as a performer?
The first thing I'm going to say, because I'll probably forget it, is when you start playing drums, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you start. And my first time singing on the drums in public was opening for Paula Cole. And I go 1, 2, 3, and then I started, and the rest of the band started a whole count after me. So it took us all a little bit to get together. So everybody, if you're out there, make sure you and your band, or maybe you, if you're the band leader, know what you're doing. But let's see. What was now I'm gonna forget your question. What did you say? Sorry.
So, what are some of the lessons that you've learned from the artists that you've opened first, like Andy Grammer, Bruno Mars, Lisa Loeb, Maren, and Paula?
Okay, so Andy, I met Andy when I was teaching dance in LA, and I remember talking to him. I remember talking to him quite a bit about his performing on the Promenade, and he and I opened for another artist by the name of Ernie Halter a couple times, and then Andy came down to San Diego and opened for me, and this was several years ago, probably around 2010 or 9 or 8 or something like that, and then I opened for him actually that whole around that same area. So just like watching, we'll take Andy for example. He just busted his tail. Again, I guess this kind of goes with the role model thing. The people who inspire me the most are those who are hitting the pavement, like hitting the ground running, not giving up. And when you get to the level of, say, Bruno Mars or Paula Cole, they never lost their humbleness and their kindness. I was talking to Bruno before our show. Actually, I opened for him twice. And it was one of the shows I was talking to him about. We were going to do a song together. I had just started playing drums and I was all excited. And I know that he was a producer and played drums as well and sung and played guitar. And we were talking about maybe doing Come Together by the Beatles. And he was just so nice to me. He was so humble and kind. And same thing with Paula Cole. I got to go into her dressing room and gave her an autographed CD and she welcomed me there. So those are things, I don't know if they're necessarily lessons, because I know I'm never going to change, but it's just nice to see that there are people out there that can be so large and could be big for their britches, but they're not.
I'm so happy to hear about Bruno Mars. He's one of my favorites, and like I kind of wish that you guys would record a cover Come Together. That'd be really cool.
There's no reason why we shouldn't have. I think I was just so bashful because, that place was wall to wall, just absolutely packed with people. Obviously, he sold it out, and I don't know if he was like being nice and he was just talking like that, or if he really wanted to, but I just couldn't. After I opened for him, I couldn't bring myself to be like, so like that thing that we talked about pre-show, did you want to do that still? Or
hopefully one of these days, Alyssa, that you guys meet up again, and hopefully he still remembers that offer. I
hope so too. Over the years, I would text him just to see if his number was still around, but he hasn't had the same number for like 6 years.
Boy, that stinks. But anyway, I know be sure when you guys get back together or when you guys reunite.
Absolutely.
Alrighty, so what have been some of the obstacles that you've faced throughout your career, and how do you overcome those challenges?
Well, I could use the obvious, which would be the pandemic, and I could say that stopped me from doing X, Y, and Z, or got me down. And it only got me down, I'm going to be really honest with all your listeners and you, it really got to me for about a month and a half or 2 months. And then I'm the kind of person who's like, all right, you can be down for a little bit, but you're not allowed to be down. Don't let this moment define you. You're that kind of person who doesn't give up. Don't let this make you give up. So what can you do? Like, what do you have control over to keep your career going? And I just started reaching out to places that I was hoping maybe were still having live music. Just kept my connections open and made sure that I kept the line of communication open. Okay, well, when you do open your place back up, just think of me. And luckily and gratefully, so gratefully, locally, there's a venue called the Listening Room. And I love performing there. I've been performing there now for about a decade, so even longer than I've lived here for. And they were only closed for a couple months. And they started booking me the second they opened back up. And now I've been playing there more often recently over the last year than I ever have before. There's a venue that was closed, a theater in Idaho, and they were closed all year. And in September, I decided to go out there. I reached out to them and they're like, we'll have you be our first concert opening back up. And it was amazing. And so it's obstacles like that. You can let them get you down. You can let them stop you. But I prefer to have them be little speed bumps and little, slow down moments where you can kind of reassess. Sometimes being a female has been difficult for me. Oftentimes being my own manager, having to be the person do we have the date yet? Are you going to pay me on time kind of a thing, and having to negotiate all these different things as the manager, PR, booking agent person. Those are all obstacles, but they really help you grow, and it's helped me learn so much being in charge of all that.
I think that's incredible, and I definitely think that you're in the right place of what you're doing with your career. And I want to talk to you about your mentoring company, I Am Unashamedly Me. Can you describe your business's origin story with my audience?
Sure. So I, up until this month, owned a company, and it's still up right now, but I don't know when this will release. So there's a company that I've owned since 2014 called Image 1228. And I called that a music mentoring business, but I'm shifting into a career coaching business, and I'm titling it I Am Unashamedly Me. And it's really important that people know that it's unashamedly, because I want to work with people who, whether or not they're ashamed or not, I want them to know that it doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, what age you are, tall, short, big, small, be proud of who you are. Be proud of where you are in life. Be proud of where you're going. And let me help you get on that path if you're lost. I've always been an advisor and like a mentor to a lot of different people, and it wasn't my idea actually to start these businesses. This was someone else's idea who continually heard me give out advice to people who would come to me and say, how did you open for Bruno Mars? How did you tour the world on your own without a booking agent? How did you come up with your blue brand and make it work for you? And I would just give all these artists, the information that I knew, because why not? But someone heard me do that for, I don't know what, 10th time in a row. I'm like, you got to turn this into a business. So I did, but my goal is to be the stepping stone for anyone. Now, at this point, it's a career coach. It's not just a music business. So I'm currently working with a 70-year-old who retired from working with airplanes and wants to get into voiceover acting. And I want to be that bridge in between that old job for him and, moving forward to just this kind of like a part-time thing for him, just to have fun in. But so unashamedly, be out there, be proud of yourself, bask in that light that is you. And that's where that company name came from.
And I think there's going to be a lot of people that is going to be searching for this, because the thing is, you have so much experience, and I think, and it doesn't matter if you're 7 or 77.
There you go.
No matter what if you got a dream, pursue it. Like, I may be late to the podcast game, but however, and I may be was late for blogging, but however, 10 years later, here I am.
10 years. I mean, that's just so incredible. That's so amazing. 100 episodes, 10 years. I'm seriously air fiving you all the way right now. Sending you all the 5s and 10s.
Thank you so much, Alyssa. I appreciate it. And 10 years of, guys, just to let you know, 10 years of writing and 100 episodes of podcasting.
Jeez. And all the different, you've probably used different equipment throughout the years and maybe come up with different names initially, or did you right off the bat come up with Jake's Take?
It started as my first name, last name, journalist.com. So it was a mouthful.
Yeah. and tell me how to, hold on, don't talk. Wait. Elyachar?
Yes, it's Elyachar.
Elyachar. Cool. What is that?
It's Hebraic and Sephardic combined.
A brand and what is it?
Hebraic and Sephardic combined.
Hebraic and Sephardic combined. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. I'm very glad to have that name.
Aw, see, that's what I'm saying. You're unashamedly you.
Yeah, and I'm very grateful to have this platform. So, but however, enough about me. We got to get back to you. All right. So on March 26th, you released your latest album, Alyssa Jacey Live. So how long did it take you and your team to assemble the album from recording to its release?
So when does this podcast come out?
This podcast is in April.
In April. Okay. So yes, March 26th, album came out. This was, remember the theater I had mentioned about performing in Idaho?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where this was recorded. And if y'all go to YouTube /ALYSSAJACEY, every other Sunday, I've been releasing a new video that is the live track from this album. And you'll be able to watch where we pulled those mixes from and see the audience, see the theater, see me in action visually as opposed to just listening to the tracks online. And also the physical album is out, so you can get that on my website, alyssajacey.com. But it really I guess it started in September with recording that show and thinking over Christmas time. I think this is something that I want to record, or that I want to release. I've released 8 albums in total between EPs and LPs and full lengths over the last 16 years, but I've never released a live record before. And this was such a special show, being that it was the first time they had a concert after the pandemic, my first time playing this theater in this town. And it was so intimate and so just my heart, it is so full. So it's a special hour and 45 minutes that really captured and captivated that love really between an artist and an audience.
Awesome. I want to talk to you about some of the songs that may be featured on this album.
Okay.
So let's talk about Prove Me Wrong.
Okay. That was the first song I ever wrote. That is I've rewritten it and released it 4 different times and also taken it down. So that's amazing that you even found that name. Where did you find that?
I found it on YouTube, I believe. And I also found it on iTunes.
Okay. On iTunes?
I mean, Apple Music.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, definitely. I remember. So the Del Mar Fair, which is now the San Diego County Fair, that's the Prove Me Wrong video that you saw on YouTube. You can see how old that video is. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's from where you started.
Yes, it was. Well, that definitely my hometown, and I did perform at that fair quite a lot of summers. But that's a song that's close to my heart because I haven't told this story in so long. It's a song that I wrote to myself. So when I'm saying, prove me wrong, you this, you that, the you in the song is about me. So that's a really special song that I did not end up playing at the theater. But if people do want to hear it, I do suggest they go check out that YouTube video.
All right. So anything you want.
Anything you want. I am about to go tour to Hawaii. This will be my 8th. I call it the Blue Hawaiian Tour. 8th tour there, 12th or 13th time to Hawaii in general. I love Hawaii. I love performing there. And after a month-long residency in Ireland in 2016, I came back to Nashville for, 10, 15 hours, got on the plane, went to Hawaii to go play. And I wrote Anything You Want the night that I got there because my equilibrium was so off and my time clock was so off, that I couldn't fall asleep. So I wrote Anything You Want at 3 a.m. And it's just like a happy love song that I didn't write about anything specific. I'm usually very much a specific writer. So if you listen to my music, you'll know what's going on in my life, especially if you listen to me live as I'm doing my Facebook Live shows or stage it shows and I write something new. Oh, she's going through that right now. Okay. It's like the story of my life. I'm very open with my fans. But this song in particular is just a happy little love song about people falling in love, being a happy little beachy tune, a little reggae island vibes. And that is out on the album. And it's also out on YouTube as a video, as a 3-piece, as well as on Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and all those different places.
Awesome. Drowning Me.
My favorite original. That song was written the summer I moved to Nashville, so June of 2012. And I had always had in the back of my head, write a song that sounds bluesy, just figure it out somehow, and I could never do it. So, and I didn't start playing guitar until a year after I started singing, so that's somewhere between 2006 and 2012 where I didn't write a song like this. And as soon as I wrote it, I knew this song was going to be something special. I shared it with my family. I went out to go play it, and for a year or two, it was consistently requested to be sung a second time at all the shows that I played, where I've never been asked that before about any other song. It is still to this day the most streamed on Spotify, the most downloaded on iTunes, the most talked about, requested over podcasts and radio interviews. I love this song so much that, and my fans love it too, that I've now made a second version, and I'll be releasing like a dark pop kind of, something you might hear on TV or something around May of this year, so next month.
Awesome. So Why I Left is the last song I want to talk to you about.
Why I Left is about San Diego. The reason, and leaving San Diego for Nashville. The reason I wrote it is because after living in Nashville for as long as I have been, and I wrote it, I think, 7 years into living here, people consistently, still to this day, say, why would you leave San Diego for Nashville? If you watch the video, which I really hope you do, this is one of my favorite videos I've ever released, and such a special song to me because it's all career related. It shows you the steps that I took from leaving San Diego and what's happened along the way. But it shows me teaching dance in it. It shows the Super Bowl pictures and some of my favorite shows that I performed. And it's just more of like an explanation in a loving way to people about leaving my hometown for a city like Nashville to pursue my dreams.
Awesome. So who are your dream collaborators, singers, songwriters, producers, and how would they enhance your sound, Alyssa?
Dream collaborators. Oh my gosh. Living in Nashville, it's like everybody. I love where I live because not everyone here is just a country artist. And that's one of the things I noticed about Nashville before I even moved here, touring here, that people are just so eclectic. And I love that. So I'm very attracted to, like, audibly, so many people that work here in town. The first artist that comes to mind always whenever I get asked this question is Sarah Bareilles. I love her personality. I love her voice. I love her musicality. I love how she treats her fans. And it would just be such an honor to work with her. And then I'll jump completely to the other side of the spectrum. Eminem or Ludacris, because I rap also. I love to rap. I started rapping a couple years ago in some of my pop and blues songs, and either fast speaking or rapping. And I just think that they are two of the most talented rappers and writers that there ever will be and has been. And I would love to work with them, and producers.
Awesome choices. So what are your favorite social media channels, like platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and why do they stand out?
I guess because I have a stronger following on Facebook / Alyssa Jacey Music. I think that's probably where my favorite place to interact. I don't get as much interaction on it though as I do maybe Instagram, but it's kind of hit or miss. I would say top two would be Facebook and Instagram.
Awesome. Now we got to start winding down this interview. So if you had the opportunity to meet with singers, songwriters who want to advance their careers in the recording industry, what advice would you share with them?
Sign up with IamUnashamedlyMe.com and let me give you all the advice that you need. I make sure that when I do work with other artists, or like I said, anyone such as the 70-year-old man who's now working in or getting into voiceover acting, I make a little step-by-step plan that you and I can work on together, and I can only help you get as far as I know how to get. There's only so far I can help you with. So that's another reason why I call myself a stepping stone, because there are a lot of things I still haven't done, and I don't pitch or try to promote that I can do that for you. But I would love to be that person that encourages you. My whole purpose on this earth is not to play music, but it's not to dance. It's not to write. It's to inspire. I want to inspire people through my story that you can go 20, almost 4 years in your life, having never sung a song before, never written a song, never played an instrument, never thought about motivational speaking before, never thought about being an entrepreneur and owning your own business or singing the national anthem, none of these things. And you can do it. So I really believe in everyone if you believe in yourself. And I'd love to help you.
Awesome. Now, first of all, where can my audience connect with you? And also, where can they find your music?
If you look up Alyssa Jacey, ALYSSA JACEY, first of all, on Google, you'll find all kinds of stuff on there, and everything will be blue. Blue is very important. Bring the crew and wear your blue. I call my fans the Blue Crew. And I donate $1 from all my ticket sales to the Alzheimer's Association if you come to my shows wearing blue. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
That is incredible.
Thank you. So just find me, look up Alyssa Jacey on everywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, AlyssaJacey.com. And through AlyssaJacey.com, you'll find all of my different social media sites. I Am Unashamedly Me will soon be connected to that. And you'll find me everywhere and all my different music everywhere.
Awesome, guys. Now, to download more episodes of the Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar podcast, head to Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Spreaker. Just type in Jake's Take with Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. Once again, JACOBELYACHAR. Now, are you on social media? Because I'm on social media too. Head to my Facebook channels on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And it's Jacob Elyachar, JACOBELYACHAR. And I just want to say, as mentioned before, Jakes-Take.com is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. So for more articles, for interviews and reviews, head to the blog that started it all, Jakes-Take.com. Alyssa, thank you so much for taking time in your schedule to talk with me today. I really appreciate it.
Jake, back at you. Congratulations on your 10 years and 100 episodes, and it's an absolute honor to be 106. Thank you so much for having me.
You're so welcome, Les. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye.